guys, welcome to my channel. Okay, today I'm going to show you my basic eyeshadow look. I follow these steps the majority of the time. Sometimes I'll switch it up, but most of the time when I'm doing an eyeshadow look, I follow these 3 steps and then just change up the intensity or the colors of what I'm using to change the look itself. So if you want to know how I got this look and how I get the majority of my eye looks following 3 simple steps, then keep watching. So to create a basic eye look is super simple. I'm only going to use 3 colors, 1 brush, 1 palette. It's nothing difficult. So if you are new to doing eyeshadow, this is a good way to get into things to help experiment with different colors and techniques. But it's also, even if you're really good with makeup and advanced in eyeshadow, this is a great go-to look that will give you a little bit of depth, but you don't have to put a lot of time and effort or energy into creating this, and anybody can do it. With a little bit of practice, I promise you can totally do it. So what I'm going to do today is I've got 2 brushes. I'm going to try to just use one, but these are both just kind of fluffy brushes. One's just a little bit smaller than the other. And then we're also going to use the IT Cosmetics Naturally Pretty Palette Volume 1. I love this palette because they are all matte colors, but there are warm tones, there are cool tones, there's even an overlay, so if you want to add a little bit of a sheen to your colors, you totally can. Actually, first things first, let's not forget this. Prep your eyelids. You've got to prep your eyelids, whether you have oily eyelids and you find that like your mascara comes up, or that your colors bleed and melt together, or you're just not getting the payoff you want from your eyeshadows. Prepping your eyelids is huge. You can use an eyeshadow primer. I just like to use my concealer. This is just Tarte Shape Tape concealer that I use under my eyes, and I just put that a little bit on my eyelids and I pull it out. I pull it across, I should say, and dab it on. And what this is going to do is this is going to set my eyelids so that they don't get greasy, and so that the colors I put on are the true colors. Now, a key step to priming your eyelids is you've got to set them with powder. I do RCMA, no color powder, because if I put my actual eyeshadow colors right on top of that concealer, there's a chance that they can kind of muddle together. Putting a powder on top of any of your liquid or creams will help set them down so that the other powders you apply on them just glide on smooth and blend all together. You don't have to let that set long. I'm just going to take my eyeshadow brush now and just brush all that away. This is just a clean brush. Just have to give it just a second. And it lets us start with a clean palette. Clean it out from under your eyes too. Okay, first thing is our crease. We are going to carve out our crease. This can be done with any medium toned brown. You don't want to go super light and you don't want to go super dark. That's why I just say medium tone. I just go middle of the road. If I'm like, that doesn't look too dark, but it's not the lightest color in the palette, that's what I want to go to. You don't have to do a brown, but to me, browns are the best ones. You can do a gray. I like to just stick with the browns for the crease because I feel like it's a great transition color and it helps blend everything else regardless of what color I'm doing. So in this particular palette, the ones I recommend for your transition colors are either soft light, and I probably should have got a new one before I started this tutorial, but obviously mine's well used. Soft light, which is a cool tone brown. Warmth, which is kind of a cool tone mauve brown. Or sunrise, which is a very warm brown. And for this look, I'm going to show you sunrise. So I'm just going to take the brush, swirl it around in there, tap it off, and then I'm going to take this and I'm holding it towards the end of the brush. I always hold it at the end of the brush if I want light pressure. And I'm going to start right here. This is my crease. Where my eyeball curves in to the skin, that's the crease. If you don't see your crease, you can push it and find it. I'm going to push it in this outer corner, and then I'm going to go back and forth all the way inner to outer crease, just doing these back and forth kind of windshield wiper motions. I'm coming all the way out, going all the way in, and I just go back and forth. Because I am holding towards the end of the brush, the pressure is not very much, and I'm actually not pushing very hard in there. I don't have to shove that brush down in there to get in the crease. I kind of want it to fan out. I definitely want it, as you can see, I've carved out that crease a little bit, but I want it to blow out up top and bottom. I don't want this to be super concentrated anywhere. And I also will do circles just to really blow out that color. And in this outer corner, as you can see, I'm doing big swirly circles. I'm not getting a ton of color up to my eyebrow. I don't want it all the way there, but I definitely want it to just blend out back and forth. Now that we have both eyes done, that we've done the crease with that medium brown windshield wiper and then the circle motions, circles going up and out on these outer corners, we're gonna go down the next step. And this is a shade that's just a bit darker. It's not the darkest shade in your palette, but it's a darker color. So that could be any of these. Sunset, All Heart, So Full. You could even go into Mocha, but that's getting a little bit dark, but any of those are your warm and cool tones that you can do. I'm gonna keep this kind of a really warm look, so I'm gonna go into sunset. Yes, I'm gonna go into sunset. I did sunrise, now I'm gonna do sunset. I'm keeping that exact same brush. I'm gonna swirl that in there, tap it off, and I'm gonna do the same motions, but I'm gonna hold the brush in the middle of the brush this time, and I'm gonna put a little more pressure because I want this to stay a little concentrated. As I go darker in colors, I want the space on my eye that it covers to get less and less and less. So I'm gonna start with my main color here, my transition, and then I'll go my second color and then my third color. So as I go darker, the space it covers is less and less, and I hold the brush closer and closer to get a more precise look. So I'm gonna still start, nope, it was this eye. I'm gonna still start in this outer corner. I'm gonna put it right in the crease like I did to start with before, and I'm gonna do windshield wipers, but I'm not gonna go all the way in. I'm not gonna go all the way to here. I'm gonna go to, I'll start in this corner and go to the outer corner, but I'm gonna pull it, not quite there. Just windshield wiper, and like I said, I'm pushing a little bit harder in that crease. I'm not hurting my eyeball. It doesn't hurt, and it shouldn't hurt. Don't push hard enough to do that. But I'll do windshield wiper, and then I'll do those circles. All I'm doing is putting the brush into my crease and creating small circles in that crease. And then when I get most of the color off, I will go back to this outer corner, and I will do a slightly bigger circle going up and outward towards my eyebrow and the tail of my brow. And then I'll just do a really big to blend everything up together. I'll do that one more time, and you can layer it. Don't be afraid to layer. I always suggest going lighter and adding layers as opposed to putting something on and going, oh, that was a lot, that was really dark, and you have to try to blend that out. Start light and build up, build in layers. It's a great way to do eyeshadow. So I'll start in that outer corner. I'm just gonna get circles because I really want to deepen up this outer corner. That's how you get the bulk of this look. And then I will do those windshield wipers back and forth. And now you can see the difference with two colors versus one. Okay, and our final step is we're just gonna go to our darkest shade that we're gonna be using. So in this palette, that can be Java, Mocha, Iconic, and Violet are both your purples. You've got Midnight, it's the navy, Noir, which is black. I'm gonna actually just keep these in the brown family, the warm brown family, and I'm gonna take a little bit of Java and maybe just a tiny bit of the black, just a bit, but I'll cover it again with that Java, that dark brown. Tap it off, same brush still, I'm just using one brush. And this one, I'm gonna go even smaller and more condensed of where I apply the colors. I'm gonna hold it almost to where the metal part of the brush starts, and I'm gonna go right in this corner, and I'm gonna start right on my lash line corner, and I'm gonna drag it across my lash line about halfway and go up into this crease. It's almost like a V. It's almost coming into that V shape, but I'm just keeping some darkness in the corner, but I'm also making sure that I'm kind of pulling it up and out. I want kind of that cat eye, lifted eye look, because I want the eyes to appear lifted and awake. So I'm gonna lightly brush that across the lash line, and then I'm gonna stick it in that corner, and I'm just gonna do some circles right there. I like the circle motion because it almost naturally covers that V shape without having to draw out a harsh V. So if you just stick it in the corner and do those swirls up towards the tail of the brow now, it will naturally kind of grasp onto that brow, that bone right there where your eye socket is. And then when you've got most of the product off, you can go in and kind of very, very lightly, I was scooting my hand down on that, drag that so carefully in just to blend out that harsh line, because you don't want just a bonk of dark color right there. You want to blend it out. So push it in that corner, swirl it in a circle going up and out, and then with what's left on the brush, windshield wiper it very gently in there. If you have hooded eyes, you want to do all of this a little bit higher because the hood of your eye is actually here and it will cover all that. So anything where I do on the crease, you for hooded eyes, just bring it all up just a little bit. So when you open your eyes and look, this dark color will actually be here on you, but you'll see it really well because of your hooded eye. And then now that I have hardly anything left, I'm just gonna kind of do a big circle up and out just to make sure everything is blended in that outer corner and across that lash line. But that's it. Now we've got color number 3, 1, 2, 3. As they get darker in color, the amount of space they cover gets smaller and smaller and comes towards the outer corner more and more. The first one came all the way in and then not quite as far, and then this last one is just here in this outer corner. Now we're done with our upper lid. I'm gonna put just a tiny bit on the lower lid. And again, you can make this as heavy and dramatic or as light as you want, but I just follow the same 3 steps using that same brush again because there's hardly any color left on this that I did in the upper lid. So I'm gonna start with Sunrise, which was our very first color. I'll swirl a little, and I'm just gonna, holding towards the bottom of my brush, I'm just gonna swipe this under my eye. I'm basically putting it across my eyelashes, but letting it hit that skin that's right underneath. I don't want anything too dark and too dramatic. I just want a little color to blend. And then I'll take Sunset, which was our second color, and I'll do that same technique, but I'm gonna hold the brush in the middle, and I'm not gonna go all the way to my tear duct on this one. I'll start in that outer corner, and I'll brush it across those eyelashes, but sticking probably about halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way across that lash line. And then for the last one, which was our Java and Noir, I'm gonna hold the brush really, really close and just barely get any on there, tap it off, and I'm just gonna do this right here in this outer corner. Just barely on that corner right there. And I kind of brush it up to connect those 2 dark colors. If you want to do eyeliner, you can absolutely put on eyeliner with this. It looks great if you line your waterline or if you put liner on your lid, but I'm just gonna put on my mascara and finish up the look. So 2 tricks that I always do with mascara is I always curl my lashes. Unless you have super naturally curly lashes already, curling them makes them go from this to this and will really open up your eye. So look for a good eyelash curler in your eyelash shape. And I also always prime my lashes. I use L'Oreal Voluminous Primer. Putting a primer on first not only will keep your mascara on longer and help it from smearing all over, but it gives that mascara kind of a coat just to sit on top of, so you get the appearance of thicker, longer, fuller lashes as well. And then I'll top it all off with L'Oreal Lash Paradise Mascara. Okay, and that's it. You put a coat or 2 of mascara on and you are done and finish this look. Now don't forget, you can do this with any color palette. I suggest a neutral tone, always for your first color, for your crease. But as you get darker and smaller in your coverage and your colors, you can do any color you want. You can keep this very neutral. You can keep it in the browns and the warm tones, the cool tones. You can go really colorful and bright with it. It's up to you, and that's why it's one of my favorite ways to do this, because you can go dark and dramatic or you can keep it super light and neutral, but just work as your colors get darker, the area of the cover gets smaller, and you will get pretty much a perfect eye every time. This is how I'm gonna, nope. So to create, nope. Trying to hold it almost to where you can see that. Nope, not gonna focus. Dang it. Oh, how do I want to say this? Nope. I think that was good. Okay.